Let me share with you some of the things that I found as I tried to make a joke out of Christianity and the Word of God. When it came to the Bible, there were two questions that I struggle with. Is what we have today what was written down? And second, was what was written down true? Whenever you examine any piece of literature of history to see if it's historically accurate or reliable, you apply an historiography. A part of any good historiography is what is called the bibliographical test. Now, what is the bibliographical test? That is a test that asks questions about the manuscripts of any piece of literature, not just the Bible, but any piece of literature of history. Now, what is a manuscript? Now, a manuscript, by definition, is a handwritten copy over against a printed copy. Here is one of the problems. Manuscripts would deteriorate, they would disintegrate, they would disappear because they were written on material that would perish. So when it comes to the manuscripts of any piece of literature, and today we're looking at the Bible, there's two questions that you ask of the copies, because you don't have the originals. So the first question he asks is this: from the original copy, how far is the first copy removed from it? You say, what do you mean? Well, they would copy a manuscript, and then that would last so long, and then that would deteriorate. And so the question is, the copy you now have, how far distant-wise, time-wise, is it removed from the original? Now, the rule of thumb, meaning it's not always true, but most of the time it is, the closer of the copy to the original, the autographa, the greater the accuracy. That's not always true, but most of the time it is. Aristotle wrote his Poetics around 343 BC. And do you realize the closest manuscript is 1100 AD? That's 1,400 years from the original of Aristotle and the Poetics to the closest copy. Many people consider Thucydides one of the most accurate historians of antiquity. And yet most people don't realize from the time Thucydides wrote to the closest manuscript is 1,500 years. When it comes to the Bible, we go back to within 80 years of the time of Christ. There is more evidence time-wise for the reliability of the Scriptures than any 10 pieces of classical literature combined. We have today what was written down 2,000 years ago. And if you can't trust that, then you would have to throw out all literature of antiquity.